Hello guys, welcome back to Amra Azul TV. Today we're going to do a 39-month update on the Red Sea Reefer 250. Hello, welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to walk you through the tank. There's been a few changes both in the tank and in the sump, and I'll tell you about some of the major kind of plans for the tank going forward. All right, so let me just show you the sump because I don't think you've seen some of the latest developments here. All right, so where do we start? Let's start with Red Sea skimmer. It's been in the tank for a month and a half now, and it's doing really well. I love how much skim it produces, and I really like this neck cleaner feature. All right, so perhaps one of the biggest changes that I don't think I've showed you before is that I have a dose here for dosing two-part. And I got this once I added my trident to the system for monitoring alkalinity and calcium and magnesium. I'm now implementing automatic dosing. So based on the reading that the trident is getting, it's automatically dosing two-part to maintain my alkalinity around 9.5. It's actually been working really well. And as a result, I've actually totally got rid of I didn't get rid of my K-More F4, but I moved it. It's now running in my my little frac tank downstairs in the basement. Currently, I'm just only dosing two-part. I haven't had to dose magnesium or nitrates or phosphates for a while because my parameters are fairly stable with the nitrates and the phosphates. I did start my salt test experiment. So as of I think 2 weeks ago, I did start replacing or doing water changes, daily water changes with the TM Tropic Marine Pro Reef Salt. I don't think I'm doing only like 2 liters a day, so I don't think there's been any kind of changes, but I did start that experiment. So we'll keep track of how the tank looks. I want to also show you this little cabinet that I've added. So the trident doesn't fit in my cabinet, at least in that spot over there. So I got this little cabinet from IKEA, and here is the trident, and here is the waste collection bucket for the trident. Overall, I've well, okay. So the good thing about the trident is the alkalinity has been like spot on. I really enjoy it. Just over the past 2 weeks, the past week, my calcium and magnesium levels, and not the levels, but the reading from the trident has been really wonky. So my calcium went up from like typical 400 to almost like 800 or something crazy like that, and the magnesium is dropping. And obviously it's a problem with the testing, and I contacted Neptune. And it's a known issue with some of the new batch of reagents. When the reagents run really low, some of the tube that actually sucks up the reagent to do the test sucks in a little bit of air and leads to false readings. So I'm hopefully when I replace my reagents, this problem will be fixed. And for the record, I'm still not able to get the reagents in Canada. I have to get them from the US. So they did say they're gonna provide the reagents for local fish stores all over North America, I believe, but that is still not the case. Another thing that happened in my sump was that for my automatic water change system, I had a couple of optical switches to monitor my high and low levels in the sump. And actually one of the optical sensors failed. So this white block over there, it's like a regular float switch for my low-level water indicator. The optical float switch, the optical sensor was purchased from Neptune, and it was within warranty. So when it failed, they sent me a new one right away. All right, let's go back up to the tank. I'm going to do a top-down tour. Everything looks fairly good. I did lose the red planet colony, which I'll show you. From after I returned from my vacation, I had that problem with the apex power bar and an alk spike. Oh, sorry, an alk drop. And since that, my red planet has been looking really yucky, and I think it's kind of officially dead now. I also lost one frag, my pink lemonade, which is in the back here. You'll see in the top-down tour. But other than that, the tank is looking pretty good. I am setting up for like a major re-aquascape, essentially. Maybe not major, but I'm gonna get rid of this colony, the pink Miyagi tort. Sorry, the electric Miyagi tort, because if you look at the colony up here, it's looking pretty drab, but the same colony in the bottom here is looking electric. So it's clearly a light issue. I think this colony does better at low light. So I'm just going to remove this, put it in my frac tank and see what it does. And then I want to add some new corals in its place here. And then I also want to remove this rock here and maybe give another space for another Acropora. And then I did some major like hacking of my pink Cadillac colony because it was getting too big. So you see I have like big chunks back there, and essentially the pink Cadillac was getting too big and it was shading the bonsai behind it, so I had to hack it. And yeah, you know what, one challenge of having a successful SPS tank is the corals get monstrous, and you know you could see this coral is getting really big, and that becomes a job in itself. I'm having to like constantly prune the SPS colonies just to kind of keep them in check. It's it's a good problem to have, I think, but I'm I'm running out of places to put frags. So yeah, it's you know it's a challenge. All right, let's do a top-down tour. All right, here is a top-down view. We'll start with the tenuous, doing really healthy. I apologize for the wrasses. They keep coming up thinking there's food. So this is the rock that I'm trying to kind of get rid of. It's got some. I think it's going to be hard taking this video with the wrasses all excited. So this is the rock that I'm trying to get rid of. It's got some lovely blue mushrooms, pink mystic, and another Montipora. I don't know what is the name. It's like a stellata. Then the Christmas Montipora is looking good. There's actually this big chunk that kind of fell when I was cleaning the tank last time, so I have to find a home for it. Here is the blueberry wine. It's getting really big. Oh yeah, hey, you could actually see the Acropora crab in there. Here, let me zoom in. This guy is super hard to find, but I got this there it is. I got this white Acropora crab that just lives in the colony, and I guess eats anything that floats in the colony. Very cute little guy. I was worried that I didn't see him for like a few months, but he's alive and well. Actually, I think he even got a little bit bigger. All right, so I have to kind of keep this colony in check because it's really getting big. Again, I apologize for the wrasses. Sometimes I try to shoot these videos at night, but then it creates another type of problem, is that the fish are sleeping and sometimes they freak out. So we'll just have to deal with a little bit of ripples. So here is the red planet. Yeah, I'm gonna call it, it's dead. So this is one of the colonies that was doing great, but after my issue with the apex power bar, it just quickly deteriorated. Here is a really big chunk of pink Cadillac. This is the main colony. So this colony was like all the way up here. I don't want to touch the water, but essentially was twice as wide, and you could see kind of where I hacked it. I hacked it in half, and that is to allow the bonsai, which is behind it. This bonsai was like completely covered. So now both of them are getting light, and the hacking didn't seem to upset the pink Cadillac too much. And then here we have my Cali Tort, looking nice. The bonsai, which was kind of browning out a little bit because it was getting covered, is looking good. And on the bottom here, we have my pink, what is this, the Pac-Man. I actually had to cut this colony in about like a third of this colony off and fragged it, so it's still getting big. it's I mean, like, you want big colonies, but in a small tank like mine, it kind of becomes a problem. You have to constantly snip and trim, so that way the colonies just don't take over the whole tank. Okay, this is view from the other corner. We'll start on this rock here. So one positive is the Jason Flame Fox is looking really nice. It's getting the nice colors and purple, sorry, not purple, but neon green tips. Here we have a really cool mini colony, maybe, I'm still gonna call it a frag, but this is the Jason Fox TNT Anacropora. Really nice color, very interesting shape, is growing really well at this low par. And another cool colony is this Mazer Laser, again doing well in this part of the tank. All right, up here, the Shockaholic is like I'm seeing some colors in some areas, but it looks faded in some other areas. I can't tell whether it's getting too much light here, but I'm not too worried about that. The Orange Passion is looking amazing as usual. Just very beautiful colony, one of my favorites. Then we have the Red Dragon. And then this green thing is actually Rainbow Loom, and I have two Rainbow Looms. This one is looking amazing. The other one is looking a little bit drab. Can I see it here? I have to cover the light. There we go. So this is a Rainbow Loom, and I think with the Rainbow Loom, I think it prefers higher light, so it's not doing too well here, but up there it's looking really amazing. Then the Marvin the Martian is growing, very polypy. I really like this coral. And then here's the green thing back here is a green Slimer, which is doing well, but it's a little bit shaded. So here's the reason that I want to remove this pink Mystic is that I think the electric, I keep confusing my coral's name. This is a Miyagi Tort, electric Miyagi Tort. And if you remember early on, like the first year and a half, this colony looked amazing. And as it grew, it's starting to kind of brown out. And I tried to figure out what the issue is. And I'm now convinced that it's light, because see how drab the big colony is, but see that little bit on the bottom that is being shaded? That is how this entire colony looked like. So it's clear to me that this colony needs less light. So the plan is to remove this massive mother colony, cut it up and put it in my frag tank, and maybe add a few smaller frags here and let this whole thing grow out. And then here is another casualty of the Apex power bar failure. It's this pink lemonade, and it kind of totally died. You see all this gunk on this rock. This is a new arch that I added, and obviously every time you add a new arch before it starts getting what's that algae, coralline algae on it, you get these kind of yucky brownish algae that builds up, but kind of it goes away. So like these were new dry rocks. But they spent a couple more months in the tank, and you could see that they're kind of covered by coralline, and I think that keeps the yucky looking brown slimy things at bay. But this rock is still kind of still in its ugly phase, but it will get better. So overall, I think tank is looking pretty good. I do have to kind of keep on top of things to make sure the corals don't encroach on each other, but so far it's been kind of smooth sailing with the tank. It's no major changes. Everything is kind of going well. Chemistry is fairly stable, and I'm looking forward to see what the fancy new tropic marine salt is going to do to the system. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and see you around.